Hello, it's time to talk about the best foundations and concealers of 2020. I discovered a lot of great foundations and concealers throughout the last year. These are the ones that stand out to me as being the best of the best. Now, for all of my Best of Beauty 2020 videos running throughout December, I tried to be really selective and keep it only to 3 to 4 products for each category. There's even a couple of categories that only have one product. So if I said I liked something throughout the year and you don't see it in any of these videos, it's because I was just super selective, or maybe I discovered it in a previous year. These are all products that I discovered in 2020. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. If you enjoy everyday beauty made easy, that's what my channel is all about. I would love it if you're not subscribed yet, if you would consider hitting that subscribe button before the end of this video. And we can go ahead and get into my favorite foundation and concealer discoveries in 2020. I'm going to start with concealers, and with the concealer that I've probably worn the most this year for natural looks or no makeup looks, or even when I'm not wearing makeup and I just want to conceal my under eye circles or little spots on my face. This has been one of my favorite 2020 discoveries overall, not just for concealers. This is the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. This is great for all skin types. I have dry, textured under eyes, but my face is combination oily. It works great on all the areas of my face. It stays on a long time, but it looks like skin. For reference, I'm in the shade 2N. I have a light, medium, warm tone skin, and I keep lengthy, updated concealer and foundation shade match lists over on my blog that a lot of you have found tremendously helpful. I have links to those in my description boxes pretty much all the time. To get to the description box, if you're on mobile, click the title below the video. If you're on desktop, look below that title and click the words show more that are right below the little summary paragraph, and the description box will pop right up. You'll also see all the products I'm talking about in this video, as well as everything I'm wearing, my jewelry, my makeup, and any relevant videos that I mentioned throughout this video too. So because I am in my mid-40s, I always appreciate any extra little hydrating or anti-aging ingredients that are thrown into an under eye concealer. This has Wild Pansy, which is supposed to visibly smooth and moisturize the complexion, the under eye area, and I really like that. I can wear no makeup and put this on and you cannot tell that I have concealer on. It's that good. I would say it gives medium to medium full coverage. It kind of blurs as it corrects. It's just a great concealer that I'm so glad that I discovered this year. It's been completely worth the money for me. Just truly one of my staple natural looking concealers. I have one corrector in this video. I'm going to go ahead and just slip it in here before I move on to the rest of the concealers. Now, I just did a video on my top 10 drugstore purchases of 2020 where I elaborated on this more. So I'm going to talk about this really quickly. If you want more details, more information, click on that video. It's going to be in the description box. This is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Correct in the shade Peach. It is not discontinued. It is out of stock on their website. I do have it sourced and linked for you below where you can find it. There are other shades in this, but the shade Peach works really great for me. This is moisturizing. It doesn't emphasize anything bad or dry or textured underneath my eyes. It works great underneath concealer, underneath my makeup, and the shade of Peach is just perfect for counteracting the undertones underneath my eyes. If you're a little confused about corrector versus concealer, I will link the videos that I've just done on that within the past couple of weeks if you missed those. This has been just such a great find for me in 2020. I've not had great success with drugstore under eye correctors, and this one is fantastic. Another great multi-use concealer for under the eyes as well as on the face with fuller coverage has been the Pat McGrath Labs Sublime Perfection Concealer. This is more brightening for me than the Dior concealer. It's creamy, it's lightweight, and it does give medium full to full coverage. I just love that it doesn't look heavy underneath my eyes, and it always just really flatters the under eye area. It also has some good ingredients in it too. It's got a Vita Serum Complex that moisturizes and helps fight the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. It's got a Flex Form Matrix that provides smoothness without being tacky and that helps it feel comfortable under the eyes. And it's got optically diffusing pigments that give a soft focus effect, that help blur the skin imperfections and deliver a silky feel. And I feel like I get all of those things from this concealer. This is a concealer that I reach for a ton when I am, wearing foundation and I just want a really flattering under eye area. It just always looks good. I'm in the shade L6. It works really well for me, at concealing and brightening. I love this. This is another concealer that was also in my top 10 drugstore purchases of 2020. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I did an entire video on this concealer because I just was enamored with it when I first found it. Very similarly to the Corrector, I just haven't had great luck with drugstore concealers either. I feel like they're either a little bit drying or they emphasize texture underneath my eyes. And this one moisturizes while it conceals really well. It doesn't emphasize anything bad and it wears well throughout the day. I can't ask for much more than that from a good drugstore concealer. This was a great find in 2020, and as with the Corrector, you can see more information in that top drugstore purchases video. So I have the one Corrector and I do have 4 concealers in this video because for me, they're all very different. I have the one drugstore, which I've been thrilled with, and I have the very skin-like natural concealer, and I have the full coverage. And then this one kind of falls in between the full coverage and the skin-like totally natural. This is the Clinique Even Better All Over Concealer Plus Eraser. This is lightweight and moisturizing and gives me medium to medium full coverage. For me, this is a really great daily concealer. It almost seems to kind of stretch and flex with my under eye area. It's lightweight, it brightens and conceals, and it stays on the skin for a long time. It's also sweat and humidity resistant, which for me is a huge bonus because I live in New Orleans, which is pretty much the humidity capital of the United States. I mean, I know there are other humid areas, but it is hot and humid where I live the majority of the year. So anything that is sweat and humidity resistant, and if you have watery eyes, this helps that too. And I love having a great flattering concealer that has those benefits. So in addition to all these things, this is supposed to help your under eye area over time. It has vitamin C, which helps the brightening and with discoloration. It has hyaluronic acid, which plumps the appearance of fine dry lines, and it has caffeine, which helps energize the skin and depuff the under eye area, but it is supposed to help smooth fine lines over time if you use it continuously too, which I think is absolutely great. And this was a great discovery for me in 2020. I love it. I think it's flattering and it does the job it's supposed to do. The foundations that I have in this video stand out to me for very different reasons, and they stood out to me above all of the ones I said I liked this year. Even though I still reach for other ones that I said I liked this year, I just seem to be reaching for these more than others. I just love these so much, they had to be in this video. So the first one is the Laura Mercier Flawless Lumiere Radiance Perfecting Foundation. This was a huge surprise for me because of the words radiance and Lumiere. I just don't typically gravitate towards foundations with those names in them because I do have oily combination skin. This is actually the foundation I have on today. Oh, and I do want to say I am in the shade 2W1 Macadamia. I mean, this is even light for me in the dead of winter, so I do have to bronze it up. So to get my correct shade, I do have to mix in some bronzing drops that don't change the texture at all. It just allows me to get my right shade. I'll link what I use down below in the description box to do that. You use such a small amount and they're really handy to keep on hand, so I always keep those. It also allows me to adjust my foundations for the summertime when I do get a little bit more color. This is really great for all skin types. It blends out really easily and gives medium to medium full coverage. It blurs the pores nicely and gives a radiant finish that never looks greasy on my skin, even if some shine does break through. But even with my oily T-zone, I don't really get shine break through quickly. And it wears a long time, so I'm able to get a long wearing foundation with radiance, and that is really, really hard to find, or that doesn't just make you look like a grease pit so fast. And this one is pretty much perfect. This next foundation is kind of polarizing. Some people love it, some people it didn't work for at all. I really enjoy it for a full coverage foundation, and I don't typically wear full coverage foundations, but this one I think it's really pretty. So this is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation. I started out in the shade Santa Fe, I think, but Punjab is what I ended up with. I think it works really well. This is not super quick to apply at all. I have to apply it in sections. I'm going to attach a video where I apply Estee Lauder Double Wear, and that is exactly how I apply this foundation. This gives medium to full coverage with one layer. I mean, you could maybe build it up a little bit if you want to. I find that I don't really need to. It kind of grips to the skin and wants to set really quickly, so that's why I apply it the way I do, but it looks really, really pretty if I apply it that way. It wears a long time. It's really budge proof, really bulletproof. I've worn it with masks and it just doesn't go anywhere. It gives a soft matte finish just like the name says, and it's beautiful with pores. It feels good on the skin. It doesn't feel heavy or look like a mask. For those with, I would say, normal to oily skin, I think this is a beautiful foundation. If you have dry skin or dry patches, dehydration, I think this could pick up some things you don't want it to pick up, but otherwise, I really think this is so, so pretty. And you get a lot for your money. There's 1.5 ounces in this bottle, so that's another bonus. I just think this was a great launch from them this year that I am happy I discovered. This next foundation is another one that's great for all skin types. This is the Bite Beauty Changemaker Supercharged Micellar Foundation. This has a moussey whip texture and it blends out really, really quickly, and it gives medium coverage. It doesn't really build on itself, so it just gives that medium coverage. It's a great everyday, daily wear foundation. It's just really flattering on the skin and gives a beautiful natural finish. It has nice ingredients in it. It doesn't feel like anything at all on my skin. I just don't feel like I'm wearing makeup. It wears a decent amount of time on the skin. I don't get greasy with it. It's just been a really great daily wear foundation that I've enjoyed, and I wasn't really expecting to. I'm so glad that I tried this in 2020. It was a pleasant surprise. I'm in the shade M55. I also like the lightweight tube. I just really enjoy this foundation a lot. Out of all of the foundations that I discovered in 2020, this is the one that I've worn the most on a daily basis. And I actually have to take back something that I've said about this in a couple of videos because I have talked about it quite a bit, but I've kind of altered some things as I've used it more and more. This is the Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Fluid Powder Foundation. I'm sure a lot of you knew this was going to be in this video. This has been just such a great discovery for me this year. Now, I do have two shades of this. I have the shade Warm Beige W046 and I have Natural Tan W054. I bought the Warm Beige first and it was just too pale. And so then I tried the Natural Tan thinking since it was the next shade, it would work for me. And it was too dark, except it did work in the summer. So I needed to keep the lighter shade so that I could deepen it up either with drops or darken it up by mixing the two, and then I like this one for summer. So that's why I keep two shades. I typically just mix the two for the rest of the year. It works beautifully. It doesn't bother me because at the rate that I use this, I'm going to use both of these up. This is super liquidy. It blends out very, very easily, but it also sets quickly. So I typically apply it like I do most of my foundations. Again, see that Estee Lauder Double Wear How to Apply video linked in my description box. It's a quick way to apply things and it just applies foundation flawlessly. Now, I had originally said that this gives pretty sheer coverage, which it does, but I find that if I use a dry sponge, I can build this section by section and get light to medium coverage too. And so it's a little bit more versatile for me. And that's why I've been reaching for it so much. It does look like skin. And so I can get skin-like looks with it, no makeup looks, but I can also wear it on the daily if I do want to look a little bit more put together. And it makes my pores disappear. It gives me a natural matte finish. It's lightweight, it's long wearing. It controls my oil so long that I really never have to blot, even if I don't use a primer, which is basically a miracle for me. And it has UV and blue light filters in it. This is such a phenomenal foundation for me. I can't get over it. Now, this is also one that I don't think would be great if you have dry skin. I think, you know, for normal to oily skin, this is just one of the best foundations I have found. One of my best discoveries overall of 2020. And again, a foundation that I reach for almost on the daily. I mean, multiple times a week for sure. If you enjoyed this video, you can see my top 10 drugstore purchases of 2020 video. I'll have that linked here for you, as well as my worst products of 2020. Stay tuned for the rest of my Best of Beauty 2020 videos that are running all throughout December, as well as some gift guides and some other great content. I have a lot of stuff going on this month. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, be sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any uploads or new videos from me. And if you want extra bonus content, hit that join button below if you're on desktop so you can join the Stephanie Marie Circle. If you're on mobile, I have a link in my description box. You can scroll through and see the options that are available. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.